Hi, my name is Maisa, and welcome back to Spill and Shell podcast. Okay, we have today a very, again, interesting guest. I think all our guests are interesting. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Polina. I'm also a student of Moscow State Linguistic University, as many previous guests, I think.
Yeah.
I'm a third year student for now, and I study Chinese and English.
Okay, third year student. How's your term paper going?
I actually like the topic of my term paper. I think I'm mostly finished with it, but I haven't handed it in yet. But I love the process of writing. I love the topic, and I'm excited actually to start my bachelor's thesis.
Oh, that's good. I've just defended my thesis. I've passed with flying colors. I'm so happy. I'm going to graduate with a red diploma, which is surprising to me, honestly.
Congrats.
Yeah, we're drinking some Chinese mountain tea. It's like red tea. I don't know. My friend brought it from Shanghai. I think Shanghai. So yeah, we're drinking today that. Okay, so I know that you're a book reading person. You like
Yes.
reading books. What was the last book that you've read?
Okay, now that you said it, I can actually recall it, but I think it was some cheesy romance book by Ailey Hazelwood. She drops books at a very alarming rate, and I read them as a guilty pleasure thing more than actually for education. It isn't a very good example, a good representative of the books I read, but I actually, one of my guilty pleasures in reading is reading Ailey Hazelwood's books. I'm not sure I would recommend them, but it was mostly as a background for me preparing for my exams, writing my notes and stuff.
So, do you prefer paperbacks or ebooks or audiobooks?
Actually, lately, I think the books I read are mostly audiobooks because I can read them anytime at any place, but mostly it's when I'm doing something that doesn't require much attention, such as writing my notes or doing some monotonous tasks like cooking or cleaning up or something like that. When I'm walking somewhere as well, and when I'm at the gym, I usually don't listen to music, I'm listening to audiobooks, so it's not to distract myself from the process of training. So it's mostly been audiobooks lately, but also paper books. Usually I read them. Usually it's the most efficient type of books I read because when I'm reading on my phone, I always find other things to do, other things to distract myself with, so it's not as effective.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, I've been reading like I think since I was a child because like it's a habit that you develop in childhood, and lately I wasn't really able to read much because oh my god, so many things to do, like so many tasks to finish, and I decided that I'm gonna come back to reading this summer, and so I'm starting with like some books that I should have read when I was like a second year student. One of them is like The Importance of Being Earnest and Pygmalion, I think that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
And then The Final Diagnosis that I don't really want to read, but like I need to. And then like my plan is to read all of Sherlock Holmes books.
I love them. I used to love them as a child, as an 11-year-old. I think I've read them all, and I've read the kind of series that the author's son wrote, like a kind of fan fiction, I think. So I was actually a big fan of Sherlock Holmes, and I'm also planning to reread those.
They are interesting, and I'm like I figured out that I really do love like detective stories and all that. It's more interesting than just like adventures or I don't know, like any book that I've read. I like more like thinking about the mystery behind the like who's the killer or something like that. And then I think I'm gonna switch to something more sophisticated. I don't know, Agatha Christie. I really wanna
Sherlock
start
Holmes
reading.
is already pretty complicated.
Yeah,
I'd
but
say.
I think the language is not that hard considering.
Yeah, it's not.
like,
It's not.
Yeah, but like I think there are some details, like interesting details about that book, that may catch anyone's attention, like the relationship between the oh my god, the relationship between Watson and Holmes.
Yeah, sure.
Because like I mean,
I-
that's interesting. That's
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like a childhood memory because I remember watching Sherlock Holmes movies, that like Russian movies, like Soviet movies.
Yeah. I love
The
those.
ones that I love them, and I cannot imagine anyone as Sherlock Holmes aside from Livanov, the actor that played him. I cannot, and honestly, I'm looking at Cumberbatch's or
Well.
Downey Jr.'s
Yeah.
Holmes. And I'm like, is it really necessary? Like, but I think don't the Cumberbatch's one like it doesn't it go deeper into the books than like what 4 films that were shot like here?
I'm not sure. I don't remember actually. But I think they've added some details that were not exactly canon. I mean, the modern BBC series and the Soviet ones. I think they're more or less canon as it was in the books.
I think some people are saying that there is a mix of stories in the Soviet ones.
Maybe. I don't remember.
I honestly don't remember. It's so fuzzy. It's like a childhood memory when you watch it on TV and you're like, oh my god, it's so interesting. I remember the Hound of Baskerville, the only one that I can remember, honestly. Like the dialogue about the oats and all that stuff.
Yeah. The oats.
That's but I honestly think that people should read more than watch movies because a lot of movie interpretations are are not that canon or aren't
that deep maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of movies that do not follow the story in the book, or I just sometimes like you. It was the same with Nocной Dozor. You haven't read it.
I'm not sure.
There was a movie shot like in the beginning of 2000s.
Okay.
And it's based on the book. And the movie is amazing. I really liked it. And then I was like, okay, I need to read the book because I know it's based on the book. And I opened the book and there are a lot more details and like the events that happen in the movie are not that so the movie is cutting down the events that happened in the book to I guess shorten them or tell more of the story in one film. Because there is a sequel to that story, like in a movie form, but there are a lot of books, and I think some people are do not consider them like good books, the latest ones, because like it's a continuation of the story, but it's off track and it's about something else and all that. That's also I think a problem of a lot of books or TV series that like continue on for too long, because I think there is I don't know if you've heard, there is like an opinion that people like to voice that a lot of, for example, TV series are not good after the season 5.
Season 5. I mean, if we get to the season 5, it's a lot, honestly. If I want to watch some series and I find out that there are more than 4 seasons, I most likely wouldn't watch it.
I mean, I've watched Supernatural back to back like 5-7 times, and it's 15 seasons. And then like Doctor House, MD, it's 8 seasons, I think. And like the latest seasons are controversial. I think they're good. Some people think they're bad, but there are a lot of TV series that are.
There are only so many TV shows, long TV shows that you can watch, and it's frustrating. I'd rather watch a couple of short TV series that are actually deep and kind of pack everything into 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And because I can't wait so long, I think I most likely would drop them after season 3 or 4.
Yeah. I mean, Walking Dead, I think I've watched it till season 7, and then I was like, oh
You're
my
a strong
god.
soldier.
Yeah, I was fighting it. It was hard. After season 7, they killed off so many good characters, and I was like, no. I mean, it's not. And I think it's also based on the book.
Oh,
I think there are books linked to this show.
interesting.
And now, like, thinking about a lot of seasons, there's so much controversy online about the Rick and Morty season 8.
Oh.
It's so interesting. I mean, that TV show is controversial in itself because of how they are portraying it in general. Like, the premises of the show, that, like, a crazy old scientist and his grandson, and he swears, and he all that shit. And then, like, I mean, I like that show. I really like that show. I started watching it when I was like, I don't know, 14, 15. So for me, it's like linked to some memories, some good memories. But then again, season 7 was good. Season 6, hit or miss. And I'm afraid of watching season 8 because I'm like, okay.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, but I mean, the studios that buy more seasons from those shows, it's crazy because I think Rick and Morty, they got like bought for 10 more seasons when they were on their season 3. And like everyone was cheering on. They were like, come on, yeah, that's a good sign. And then like season 5 comes around and they're like, oh my god, why? Like, why? It was not that necessary. Like, it didn't push the plot further. And I think, yeah, season 7 was the one that like got anything done with the plot, like the beginning plot of the first 3 seasons, the red herring that was there. But yeah, it's crazy, honestly, how people can keep shows alive.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing with TV adaptations for me is I find out that some show I want to watch or some movie is based on a book, and I read the book first so that I can understand which one is better, which one, what movie is based on. And I read the book and I kind of procrastinate on watching the movie, so I forget about what happens in the book and whether I liked it or not, and I don't get to the movie itself. It happened with the book, particularly with the book Carol, or The Price of Salt. One movie that's based on it is Carol, with Kate Blanchett.
I don't know, yeah, I'm not
very,
really.
very famous one, Kate Blanchett.
Okay. Yeah, well, I know the
Stars in
actress.
movie, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've read the book, and it seemed kind of boring to me, so I never got around to watching the actual movie. And there was also, I think, the book Bright Young Things.
Oh, I think I've heard. Is it the like
Evelyn
thriller horror or something?
No, it's not. It's I don't know.
Did it come out like last year or something?
No. It's by Evelyn Waugh, and it's from, I think, the book from last century and the movie from, I don't know. I think it's the end of the 20th century.
Oh, I think I've heard about something with a similar name that like came out last year.
Maybe.
After The Substance, and everyone was talking about it.
I don't think that's the
Okay.
one. So I've read the book. I think it was called Bright Young Things, and I haven't. It's the movie has actually interesting because there's like Michael Sheen, there's David Tennant, I think. He briefly appears in that, but I didn't like the book so much that I haven't got around to watching the movie. And actually everything I read by Evelyn Waugh,
Is it that one?
It looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I've read Brideshead Revisited by the same author, and I wanted to like it, but I didn't.
Well, that happened. At least you're reading books, which is good.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel myself getting dumber and dumber because I stopped reading. And like reading, even in your native language, is good for your vocabulary and
Definitely.
grammar, everything else. Like it's really good,
Yeah.
and I think reading is like really important. I wish I had more time, and like now that I'm graduating, I can relax this summer.
Yeah.
I will have only like tutoring work, and that um, doesn't mean I cannot read. So I will try to read more, especially because my future job will require me to read the first three books that I've told you about. Because the program that I'm going to be teaching, the curriculum that I'm going to be teaching, is basically like home reading, what it's called. Like, and I know that like there are a lot of problems with that right now because the first years you should hear them. Everyone is complaining about the fact that the first years have to watch Wednesday for home reading classes.
Wednesday, the modern one or
The modern one. Yeah, it's crazy. I had to sit through one episode. Not the first one. I have no idea what the episode was. They were going to some, I don't know, like old style town and all that. And it's so horrific. The jokes are so like not complex. Like you don't even think about them. Like you're like, okay, yeah, I know that it's a joke, but it's not funny. There is nothing to laugh about. And it tries so hard to be like the last Addams Family movies or any adaptation that was good. It tries so hard and it just misses by a landslide. It's how, and for home reading, I mean, what are they reading? The scripts?
I don't know. We didn't have it, but maybe it's because it was our second language, English. I mean, we don't have that much English in our curriculum, but we did have Oscar Wilde in our first year, and many people didn't actually like it or thought it was too complicated. But I think if you get the historical context and stuff of the importance of being honest, and you read more about the genre, you study more about the genre and how it's structured, and about the characters, not only
the story
itself, the words and stuff, but also the context, the overall context of it. I think it would make it more interesting. But also what we studied was the stories by Oscar Wilde, the little stories for children, I think, that I've read as a, I don't know, 6-year-old or something. It wasn't very entertaining. I didn't get much vocabulary from it. I'm not sure I got anything from reading those stories by Oscar Wilde. I mean, he's a good writer. He's an amazing writer, and but I like his other books, other writing, than just the stories for kids. I know they have some moral. They have some point in them that you can deduce, but for me they're very simple.
Yeah. I don't really like plays in general. It's not like, I think the only 2 plays that I really liked were Goggles, I think it was Previsor. Was it a play? I don't remember.
I think
yeah, it was a play.
It was a play.
That one, and the importance of being earnest. Because I don't like, I tried reading Pygmalion.
It also has some historical context.
Yes, the historical context and everything else about the book is really interesting. Yeah. I like everything about the book, but the book itself, I mean, the whole situation of I can fix her. I mean
yeah, but I like that it's based on a Greek myth.
Yeah, that's about the book. But
it's not. Yeah, it actually finish it.
Neither did I. I was reading the retelling of it because I couldn't. The interesting part for me was the way he described the phonetics
Yeah.
and how she was talking and the others and all these particularities about them.
For a linguist.
Yes, basically it's really interesting, and I got inspired when I was reading my short story that I writing my short story that I didn't finish, but I got inspired to write these like things, these little things worked it into the my character's speech, but the other things, I mean,
I agree, and we're also. In the first year, we were reading a lot of Oscar Wilde. In the second year, in home reading, I don't remember the name of the author, but he had a lot of moralizing kind of stories about people always getting in trouble.
More?
About.
Somerset Maugham?
No, we had one story by Maugham, and I actually also didn't like it. I mean, maybe the way it was taught, maybe it might be the story itself. I don't know. Something Geoffrey, something. I don't know.
Jeffrey Dahmer?
No,
not Dahmer.
No,
I think I
I don't remember what the name of the author was, but the thing about him is that he's also gotten in trouble for like bribery and stuff. I don't remember for what, but he was actually in prison for something. And he writes this moralizing stories about people who, about bribery, about women wanting to marry for money, and that's so angry and bad. People wanting to, I don't know, about people being, I don't know.
Bad people
People
generally.
being bad people. And
I mean, it's people just being people. It's
people
like normal
being people,
human
but
behavior.
he makes some, I don't know. He always sounds. He's like looking down on the characters.
Yeah.
He's like moralizing about the point of the stories, and I don't like being told what to think about the book.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't make it sophisticated. It
Yeah.
oversimplifies it. Oversimplifies the character of people. And I think the only thing I liked in our home readings in our university was actually the importance of being honest.
We had as a first years when I was a first year 5 years ago. Oh my god, that's so scary to say. We were reading a lot of Molam, and I really did like it because we read I think 5 or 7 of his short stories.
I think we read one, and it also turned into some moralizing.
All of his stories are like that. They are about like doing what's right, what's considered right in his time. But yeah, he was also I think something about like in prison or something like that. A lot of the, I mean,
Oscar Wilde.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, while I was in prison, like a lot of them, a lot of authors, not only American
Actually,
or English.
there's one book. If there's one book by Wilde I can recommend, it's his letter from prison. I think it's called The Profondi in English. It's about 200 pages long, and he goes on a whole rant about this person who betrayed him and essentially got him into prison, and how bad he was, how two-faced he was, and all the things.
Oh, I think we've read an excerpt from that or something. Because that's.
Yeah, but it's a very interesting book actually, because he starts writing about the nature of happiness, of freedom, of love and stuff like that, and I actually kind of love that. I've reread it even, because he makes a lot of references to classical works. He references, and he does not translate them. One thing about him, he writes in, mostly in English, but also he kind of quotes from French, from Greek, from Italian, I think it was, and he does not translate, and they don't actually make some in the version I was reading, they did not have any annotations with the translation, so I had to Google it. He quotes Dante, he quotes some French philosophers, he quotes the Bible, and I actually love those because he's so nerdy, kind of, I want to say, and I love that.
I was going to talk about. I wanted to say something about one speech that I've read, and I forgot the author of it. I mean, not the real author. So there was this speech in, I think it was the 90s, and the person was speaking before MIT graduates. But it was like the thing was, the speech was written by a journalist, a female journalist that was like thinking, okay, I'll write the speech as this author and person would say it. And we were translating the speech before on our translating lessons. And I forgot the name of the author that she was supposed to represent. And I know that it's the speech where he says like floss and like if I had one advice to tell you, like dear MIT graduates, it was like floss and all that, and I forgot for the life of me the name of this person, and it's a really famous speech. I cannot. How? I was thinking about it the whole day. Because this is, I think it's the speech that everyone should read, like the first years. It's good. It's good in the sense that it gives advice about how to live life, and it's not like moralizing as you said, but it's more like, well, you think you're fat, nobody cares about it. Think about your life and your health, and like, and no one is going to look at you like when you're 90 and say, oh, you were like something like that. And it's good. And I think a lot of things said in the speech were about how stop trying so hard to like get the perfect grades. Like the people who I know, the most interesting people I know are people who don't have a higher education and all that. And it was really, it's sad that I've only found it like as a fifth year student, because I think a lot of people need to read it, even translated to Russian. It's really inspiring, and like that's what I think reading is in general. It's like getting inspired and like finding yourself through other characters, trying to live other lives through these characters.
Definitely teaches empathy, teaches seeing other people's point of view, and also gives you some actual valuable advice about life, about what to do, maybe the advice that you want to follow. I love that. But actually, another benefit of reading for me is having a lot to talk about with other people. You know, a lot of icebreakers happen when you ask people what they read or what they like. And even if they don't read about it, even if it's a thing they know about, you kind of can discuss it with them. I mean, when I was abroad and I met a lot of people from different countries, I don't know if that was effective or not, that was a good thing or not, I would strike up a conversation about their country's books, and if they've read them, if they know about them, we could discuss those and share points of view on those. But I also read a lot of non-fiction about some historical events, about some people, and I don't know, different things. And it also helps to strike up conversations with people, I think.
I mean, reading is not just about the fiction, it's about a lot of things.
Definitely.
Like I have in my to read list some books about linguistics and how some words that are now considered wrong, like different like gendered words in Russian, for example, like the coffee thing. Why should it be like that way, not another? And like a lot of these things are really interesting, not only to to me not only as a linguist but just like as a person.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people study in schools and they don't even think about the importance of like language lessons. And I'm not talking about like foreign languages, like their own language. I mean, look at the number of people who are basically literate. A lot of people have do spelling mistakes, and like, okay, I'm not talking about punctuation, because punctuation, okay, it's hard.
Yeah.
In some languages we don't have it, like in Swedish, they don't really have punctuation.
I mean, in English, native speakers are also losing some rules of punctuation, grammar even, and I don't love it.
I
some
honestly,
points I
yeah.
don't love,
I
but
me
some
too.
points I actually don't really care about. If it makes sense for them, if they
Yeah,
find it,
there are
it's gonna happen whether you want it or not.
Yeah. I mean, there's no.
I mean, there's this author which I want to find him.
Okay.
I've read his books, a couple of his books, and it's about how language changes in general, how language works, about some stages of developing language, and he's a linguist himself.
It's really interesting because we had a girl on our podcast and she was talking about creating her own constructed language, and that was really cool.
conlangs.
Yeah, conlangs are really cool, and that's
Yeah.
like basically reading books about how languages developed also helps like create
Yeah, there's also
conlangs.
this book about conlangs. I read about the creative conlangs, but I don't actually remember the name of the book or the author. But I think it's fairly easy to find it. But the linguist I wanted to mention is David Crystal, and he has a lot of books on linguistics that are pretty easy to read, I think. But about the mistakes, there's this book called The Fight for English, and he has a lot more books about linguistics, about the development of the language. He has, for example, a book about, he chooses 100 words to represent the English language, and they're all from different stages, from different spheres, and some of them are slang words, some of them are historical, now ancient practically, and that's really interesting about what words he chooses and how he describes them. He also has a book about spelling rules called Spell It Out. And he's an interesting writer and an actual linguist. And he talks a lot about the prescriptive approach to the language, about how we shouldn't dictate how the language works, but rather should let it develop because it's natural. And I love that.
Yeah, that's. I mean, okay. The thing is, how did you come to be a linguist?
I like learning English. I think that's the point. But well, the thing is, I didn't have much to do once in my life, and I started. How did it start? I started discovering English through music, primarily through English fandoms. And then I got into this advanced English program, and it really boosted my level of English. So by the time I entered university, my level of English was already at more than advanced, I would say. But I actually started reading. I think it was 11th grade when I started reading English books and learning English through books. First it was fan fiction, then it was actual books.
Well, I think, music and fan fiction.
It's really easy to get into the language very easy.
Yeah.
And I had won a competition when I was in 10th grade that was organized by our university.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I was a prize winner in that one, so I had an opportunity to get into the university without having to present my exam scores. So I was thinking, oh, I might get into linguistics. That's the only thing I could probably do. And then right before the first year in my university, when I already applied, I discovered this podcast about linguistics, about etymology. Words for Granted, it was called. And it was about the etymology of some words, about the history of some words, how they came into the language, how the processes in the language. and it's really simple to listen to. I think it was very accessible for me to get, so I started getting into the whole linguistics thing more than just English. So I was already kind of half in by the time I entered university. So that's how I got the opportunity to go, and then I started getting interested. And actually, by now, I can say that I love my major and I love studying linguistics and I love what I'm doing. I even I've kind of grown fond of the Chinese language even, so I kind of enjoy that now. So I think I've chosen the major correctly because the opportunity to study the language theory even was really valuable for me, and I've also felt like I could contribute something to the discussion in class with the material I've learned from books actually. So it was really, it's still very fun for me to study linguistics.
Have you ever thought that you've made the wrong choice?
I wouldn't say so. I haven't had any regrets per se. I've thought it was difficult. I thought it was, I mean, it was a lot at times. But I say if I started doing something I liked in 8th grade or 9th grade, which was physics or mathematics or IT or something like that, I would have burned out in the first year. And look at me now. I don't feel like I don't have the energy to study linguistics anymore. I'm planning to pursue it further. I've thought about philology actually, about if I should have applied to philology instead to get into a more booksy major. And a lot of my friends are also philologists, but these two sciences, I mean linguistics and philology, are pretty adjacent as it is. And if I had to read books for my studies, not for myself, I think it would not have been as fun. So if I'm really thinking about it, I think I chose right.
Do you have any advice for the students who are struggling now with their studies, like first years, second years that are burnt out?
I mean, if you feel like you've chosen right, I mean, it's your major and your language, give yourself a break. Maybe it's okay if you don't get a 5, you get a 4 or even a 3 mark on a language exam or some other exam. It doesn't matter that much, and just give yourself breaks. Find a way to study that doesn't require much energy but also allows you to kind of be on the same level as your classmates. To just kind of do the minimum that's required, but not fall behind at the same time. That's the tactic I've chosen. It really helped me. But also think about whether you like your language and your major that you're studying. Maybe think of some other options. If you think that's not your way, it's not a way to change it. Choose something else.
I mean, I think I've had a lot of doubts at some points in my studies. Well, when you're studying for 5 years, you do get doubts. And when I entered university, I thought it was gonna be all translation, flowers, happiness. No, it's a lot of work. It's hard work. And like if you're thinking about applying to university, you need to think through how you're going to be studying, because it's true, it's sleepless nights, it's a lot of reading, it's a lot of practical tasks.
It's a lot of homework.
I
used to think there wouldn't be any homework. But there is. You be prepared for that.
Even more than in schools. I thought, I was like, oh, I had it so good at school.
I think sometimes the professors care less about you doing your homework and you handing it in. I mean, I usually, if it's not that difficult, if it doesn't require actually writing it down. I
Mhm.
actually do it on my way to uni.
I had my main tactic with homework for the first 3 years of my study was not doing it. Basically, I've never written down a thing in my English classes except for homework. In school, but in university, I was writing down only the things that I needed to hand in.
Yeah.
And to me, it was kind of better because I've learned from studying Swedish when I started studying Swedish in school, like in, I think it was 10th grade. I started and I think I've written down some words on the first lesson and then I've never picked up my notebook. And surprisingly, I've learned the language because I was associations, all that, like things just settling in. And I was like, okay, I can do the same thing in university. And on some level, it helped me. With English, for example, I improved my English in our university. That's why I don't really agree with people who say that it's taught bad in our uni or something.
Well, it
depends on the prof, but basically it's your responsibility to do homework and look for extra stuff if your teacher doesn't do their job.
Yeah.
It's like it's your education,
Yeah, but
not theirs. They got their degree.
I've known a lot of people who've fallen out of love with English just because of the professor and how it was taught, and I kind of can understand them. But a good thing for me is that I actually love English as it is, and I don't think that's gonna ever disappear for me. So that, the only thing I've done to improve my English for the past couple of years was just reading a lot, and it did help. I actually think my vocabulary is bigger than it ever was. So my advice, if you are not satisfied with your English classes and you think your level is steadily dropping, just consume information. It doesn't have to be reading, listen to podcasts,
watch videos, anything.
Videos, watch shows. It does.
Read forums, like anything that helps you
not
to.
Not only English, actually. Any language that helps a lot. But I think I've kind of improved my English because I have some theoretical basis from what I've picked up in university, but it was mostly the vocabulary I've learned through reading. Thank God.
Well, I mean, that was me with Russian. I was like when I was a child, it really helped me to expand my vocab past like the children of my age, which was good. I mean, it did help me to get in the better class than others. But like but I had a lot of doubts in uni, and I was just sitting down when I had doubts about my future profession and my job and my studies. I would just sit down and think about what makes what are the pros and cons of my studies right now, and if I can change something that I don't like, why I am burnt out. And mostly it turned out that I didn't not like my studies. It was just the situation itself. For example, like exams or a lot of homework or a lot of stuff to go through or any activity or socializing, a lot of stuff that didn't have anything to do with the studies themselves. And basically, like, if you have doubts, just look into what you're doing, because sometimes the amount of things piling up, it can block the view of your profession that you've chosen.
Yeah, definitely. But usually after exams, I feel like, yes, this is the thing I like to do.
Yes.
I love this. It's only the exam season when I feel like, oh, maybe I've chosen wrong. I don't like it. I'm scared of it. I have an exam tomorrow, so I'm at that stage of life right now. But maybe in about 10 days, I will revert back to my usual state again when I am loving every bit of it. I don't know. But the thing with Chinese is especially if you haven't studied it before university, you cannot skip homework. You
Yeah.
cannot skip. You cannot just dismiss everyone you're given in class, because that's the only way you can learn that. Because
Yeah.
in the first couple of years, you're given a kind of framework of Chinese, how it works, how you should learn it, basically. The grammar, the characters, the phonetics, the pronunciation, especially because it's formed at a very early stage. The writing also. So you should really focus on that. But the thing I did, even when I didn't particularly like Chinese, it was just a thing I had to do at that stage of my life. Was that I found something fun to do in the background. I listened to a lot of audiobooks. In that period of my life, we had to write new characters so that we could remember how to write them. And
Oh, so like a lot of like the same character a lot of times. Yeah.
Times. And it did help to memorize the basic characters. I don't do that now most of the time. Sometimes when it's a particularly difficult character, I do that. But if it's just a character I know of which parts it consists, I know how it's pronounced, so it's not really necessary anymore. But when you're just learning it, it really helps. And I've found a way to do it by putting something in my ears to focus on, so like it was kind of a stream of focus for me. When I couldn't break away from listening the audiobook, so I had to sit down and write. It's really useful. It's a method that works for me. I don't know if it works for many people, but I've watched movies while I wrote them down, and listened to a lot of books, and just.
But it helps. It helps with the repetitive tasks.
Yeah.
It's not only like writing down characters. It's a lot of stuff. Because like there was a point in my life when I the third year, the new subject got introduced. It was translation of Portuguese language, the written translation, and the professor. Oh my God, that was a tyrant. I still love him. Because after 3 years with him, you learn to love this person. Although some of my group mates still hate him, I've learned to love him because I've noticed the progress from the 3rd to 5th year, even though it was hard. But one of his tasks, so to speak, was to every week you needed to write down in your vocabulary 50 new words. With articles, or if those were verbs with oh my God. No, oh my God, with the prepositions they're used with, the whole this thing, and like everything needed to be in different pans and all that, so you would remember. And we hated that. It was 50 new words every week. And to the end of, so it was like 800 words approximately till the end of semester. And till the end of term, yeah. And you needed to learn all of them, all the 800 words to the end of the term. And then he would ask 10 random words from this little vocab. I hated that. And that's when I was like, okay, I can watch some interesting videos in the background. And then one of his favorite tasks was when you don't know something, for example, the name of some president of some country, the current, not the one that was written in the text, or how the National Assembly or the Parliament is called in that language or in that country, you would need to write it down at least 50 times, fully. So no abbreviations, no nothing. Or it was like, well, it depended on the task. Sometimes it was, once it was the task about the branches of like Russian legal system. We have 3 branches, so we needed to write a whole, oh my God, what's it called? Yeah, not a scheme. It was like a wall of text, 2 pages long on each branch, 5 times each. So it was 15 times, but 2 pages. So the hand was hurting, and that's when I was like, okay, podcast, video, something interesting. And that was horrific, but at least now I know how the legal system works in Russia. And it's like a lot of people would complain about it. Me too, I would complain about it all the time because it's hard. It's really hard, especially if you need to do it in 1 week. Or sometimes he would give us the tests, which is his textbook had vocabularies, and it started with like 50 or 70 words, and then the vocab would be, oh no, the last one was 800 something words long, and it's not one word, it's like a phrase that long, or and if you don't write it, you need to write that vocabulary fully 5 times. And that's what I was doing last year. It's like last year and this year I was writing it all
But
down.
it boosts your language level.
Kind of. It helps with memorizing the words, but mostly these are the phrases that you will never use in an everyday dialogue. It's like news article stuff.
We've had that too.
It's really hard, but now when I'm translating something, like for money, when it's my work, I had to translate a letter from, oh my god, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but it was a ministry of education, like a minister of education to another minister of education. It was a real letter. It's not like something, a task. And I'm opening, it's in Russian, I need to translate it to Portuguese, and I open it, and it's basically the phrases from the textbook. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm opening the textbook, so proud. Half of the phrases I could remember, even though I've learned them in the beginning of the 4th year, and I'm like, so that's why. And then I'm like, okay, any translator, any interpreter knows that the easiest way to translate something long is you get it into DeepL or Google Translate, anything, and then you work off of that, creating a whole another translation, like a good one. And I throw it into DeepL, and I'm like, oh no, I'm writing it myself, and I'm like, this is something I know will never do. I'm like, oh my god, I felt so good. I was like, oh my god, I love that prof. That's so good. And there are a lot of profs like that, not only in my department. He's from my department, Portuguese department. There are a lot of profs like that in English department, German department, in any department. There can be a professor that like demands a lot. But these are some of the professors that make you a good professional, that like help you, even if you don't like them, they help you with your future job, basically.
I think I'm that professor for myself that requires you to write things down, because I found out it's the most efficient way for me to memorize something and to prepare for my exam. So usually what I do, if I have a couple of days left or a week left at best, what I do is to take a notebook and just write everything down, every question, everything you want to memorize. You write it down as many times as you like. I usually do one, but it really helps. When I think about that question during the exam, I imagine what I've written down and how I wrote it down, how I was writing it down, even the process of it, and it clicks for me. So what I'm hoping would help me during this exam season is also writing everything down. So what I was doing last evening was basically blasting this book I've mentioned on 2x. It's really light, it's a romance book. There's nothing very deep about it. It's sophisticated in the language and the vocabulary and the whole plot even. So I just kind of blasted that book and just kind of started writing down the notes, and I already feel like I can remember most of what I've written down. I've got another half of it left for today's evening, but I think that would help.
I mean, I would write cheat sheets for every theoretical subject, and I don't think I've ever used them, except for linguistics, basically like the general linguistics that I had this year, that I went to like 2 lessons, I think, of the first one and then the last one. Well, I did go to some of them, but I was playing Minecraft in my headphones.
Okay.
Yeah,
I actually love this.
I love the
general
subject, but
linguistics.
the prof. I mean, I've read about everything when like the everything we've talked about. I read it when I was writing my like answering the questions, because I was writing cheat sheets with a lot of people, and I've read it all, and I was like, that's more efficient than going to lesson every week. Well, the prof that
more
was
often than not, it's more efficient to write all those
yeah.
questions down.
And so, yeah, the prof, like, she was just basically reading off of her book. So it was,
Oh
yeah. I think that was the same prof that taught you, but we'll talk about it later. I'm not dropping any names.
Actually, even if it was that prof, I actually loved all of my linguistics classes, and
Yeah.
I've tried to participate in them as much as I could. But when I sat down for my exam, I even read a textbook on linguistics that I didn't need to read. I read it for fun, and I actually seen a lot of interesting points in it, interesting information that I've written down, and I've also read the cheat sheets. I read everything. But when I sat down, it's like everything I learned just disappeared, and the prof also forgot that I was active throughout this whole semester, and I was trying to do it all, and just treated me like I was failing miserably. So I kind of did fail miserably. It's one of my worst fails, I think, in the history of studying in this university. But I loved the subject. What I didn't love was how the exam went.
I mean, when I knew that I didn't know anything about that subject, and it was a winter exam, and I was like, okay, there is a chance that I'm getting a red diploma, but I don't know yet. I was like, okay, I need to pass it at least like with a 4. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I will do whatever I need to, just not study. So I read the cheat sheets, didn't remember anything, but the things that I remembered were the ones that I've written down in those cheat sheets. So gender variation in the language, and something else. I think I wrote 2 of the questions from 39 of 39, 2 of 39 I've written down. And so I entered the classroom, and I'm like, okay, I need to find a place to sit. And one of my friends gave me their own cheat sheet. It was really big, like an A4 paper, but it was like with little tiny blocks with questions, because they had yeah. And I'm walking in, I have a lot of paper with me, because I don't know how much I will write, and my handwriting is really wide and big on those. I'm like, okay, and the prof goes, you can leave your paper, you don't need that much, take a couple of pages. I'm like, okay, I cannot take my cheat sheet with me. So I'm sitting down, there are 2 people in front of me, and then another one is answering the questions, and I'm like, that's the best opportunity. And I'm opening the exam list. I'm like, it's number 11, and it's my like lucky number. And I'm like, okay, what is there? Gender variation in language, and then a couple other questions like general information about linguistics, the ones that like math and all that, computer sciences, linguistics, not the general linguistics. Just general information about them.
Yeah, I love those questions.
And then like theory of speech acts or something like that. I have no idea. Second one.
That's fun. Oh yeah.
That one. And I'm like,
linguistic relativity.
Oh no, then someone else. Oh, I have no idea.
Speech acts. That's a different one.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no.
That's the
I
one,
do
but
remember the author.
It's another guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, and I realized that I can put my phone on my lap and no one will notice, and I'm just writing off of this cheat sheet everything, and I got the good one, and I'm like, okay, I written down everything I could, like three sheets back to back, basically, and I'm like, okay, that's my turn. I was going to answer next to last, and then another girl cuts in front of me, and I'm like, oh no, not next to last, two people before the last. And so the girl cuts in front of me, and the prof is so angry at her because she doesn't know anything, and so the girl goes to retake the exam, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna fail miserably because I don't remember, and I think the prof will want me to tell her not read. And I'm like, okay, no panicking, no worries, no nothing. I'm sitting down and I'm starting with these speech acts because I'm like, I have no idea what that is. I'll start with that.
Okay.
So I've read off of it, and she's like, so I'm like half the page down. She's like, I know you know it. You can go to the next question. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, okay, gendered variation. She didn't even listen like half the page because that was the one I knew. And I'm like, she's like, okay, that's good. And then the linguistics, and I switched up some of them. I didn't give the descriptions to some of them, but I still got away with a 5. Not knowing anything, I got away with a 5, and I'm like, oh my god, I was so happy. I was more happy than about my state exams, passing those with the 5s, and then like my diploma, my thesis, I passed it with a 5, and I was not that happy as I was with linguistics. So yeah, cheating is good.
Well,
okay, it's not good, but writing your cheat sheets before the exam really helps.
It is useful.
I mean, I remember the gender variation. That's good.
That's a bit about how my general linguistics exam went, because the first semester actually, I've written everything down a couple of days before the exam, and I've remembered everything, and I didn't even need to cheat. It was about cognitive linguistics, and we had a really good prof who specialized in cognitive linguistics. So she explained the main part. She kind of gave lectures on was cognitive linguistics. So I passed it with flying colors, and then the second semester I'm thinking, oh, I worked wonderfully this year, and I've done well. This professor knows me, and I've read this textbook on linguistics. I've read the all the questions, the answers to the questions, but I didn't write anything down, and that's where I think I failed, because things got mixed up in my head. I didn't get enough sleep, and I kind of couldn't remember something. And once I was out of that class, I was like, oh, it was about the sign, the meaning of the sign. What was it called?
Was it? Oh my god, the name.
Semiotics.
Yeah, semiotics by. Oh my god. I think it was Saussure.
Yes, and I got a question about who studied it, who kind of
gave the leeway.
Yeah. Well, who contributed the most to this theory of the sign? I was like, it's not Saussure, isn't it?
It's
him. It's it? And the prof was like, it is.
It is. Oh my god!
I was so sure it wasn't him, but when I was out of that classroom,
it's because of his dichotomies.
Yes,
you mix it up.
Yeah, I forgot it. I forgot.
He did a lot of things for linguistics. The guy was just throwing out papers on linguistics.
Well, yeah, good for him. But
yeah,
actually, it is still one of my favorite subjects I've studied in uni. But I'm still kind of bitter about the exam. I really want to retake it. I don't know if I would have the energy, I don't know. the will to do it, but if I do, I just might because I've
Yeah.
learned a lot from them, and I might start taking those because that always works for me.
Yeah, that's good. So I wanted to ask you. You were talking about that like romance story that you
Okay.
listened through. What is your favorite genre?
Oh.
Because we've met at the English language conference, and
We
you were
did.
talking about Shakespeare.
I was. That's why
Yeah.
I kind of scrunched up my face when you said you didn't like plays.
Yeah, I know, I know, because you like them, and I know I don't have anything against them. I just think plays are meant to be played, not read.
Yeah, but I kind of when I'm reading them, I'm kind of performing them in my head.
Oh,
So I'm like,
okay, yeah.
yeah, plays.
To be or not to be.
Yeah, I don't want to. But the thing is, I've listened to some plays. It was recorded plays, or it was plays with some actors, so it was in the form of an audiobook, but
Mhm.
basically it was just an audio version of the play, so it's kind of it's I actually do enjoy reading plays because they're more often than not they are a product of the history of the time, and I love how they reflect the time and the author, and yeah, and they are easier to read because there's less text, so you get that sense of achievement from just leafing through the pages and voicing them in your head. That's what works for me. But I do love reading Shakespeare, yeah. But other genres, okay, I used to love romance, but it was just to get into reading, and when I don't have anything else to read and I want to kind of relax, that's what I'm doing. I read a lot of, I don't know, I love books about just like life, about this one fictional person, and their whole life is described, and it's kind of deep, and it's kind of, you get this, I don't know, kind of, it feels like a life, a piece of life advice. So there's this book called Stoner, and I actually, I think it was John Williams or something, the author with a very simple name, and I read it recently, and it felt like a friend telling me their life story. It's really amazing. And what else do I like? My favorite book for the longest time was The Secret History. It's kind of basic, but it's about these guys in academia that basically start a cult. I mean, and just they study a lot of ancient Greek and Latin and all that stuff, and get into this culture of bacchanalias. So that kind of all of those rites and stuff, and they kind of commit a crime, and I actually know the prologue by heart.
Oh my god.
The snow in the mountains was melting, and Barney had been dead for several weeks before we came to understand the gravity of our situation. He had been dead for 2 weeks before. I used to know it.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
That's insane, actually.
That is
I used to be
insane.
better at it.
You still know it, like, oh my god, that's crazy.
But the very first sentence is already about them killing this person, and then they kind of tell the story from the beginning about how it happened. So it's really fascinating. It's a good book. It's deep, and it has something philosophical in it. I also enjoy that. Also, I think a couple of years ago I started getting into classics, and I don't know if you could call it a genre, but I certainly enjoy reading the usual classics. I mean,
So something that is considered classic.
yeah, considered a classic.
Okay.
Yeah, more or less famous ones. What got me into reading classics was Frankenstein, and I would really, really recommend reading Frankenstein if you want to get into reading classics, because for me it was really acceptable from the point of language, vocabulary, and also from the point of the whole plot and the moral, the kind of the point of the story. So it kind of, I understood what the author was trying to say with the story, and I understood the language. So I felt for me like, oh my god, I can read classics now. That's wonderful. Yeah, but yeah, I would say that I do like reading older books, primarily from the 19th or 20th century, because, well, for the deep ones, they're usually historical ones, because you learn a lot about what was happening in that time, in that country, in that society of people. I mean, the Bronte sisters, also sometimes crazy to read, but very good. Shakespeare.
Yeah, Shakespeare. I mean, it's good literature, basically.
It's,
like, I don't have anything against Shakespeare.
Yeah. Let me look at what I actually have this app that tells me like the statistics of what I read.
Oh my
It's called
god.
Storygraph, and you can log the books you've read into this app. It's mostly English books, but they do have Russian books. But I think Russian books take up about 2 or 3% of what I read now.
I mean, the only book that I've been rereading lately, again and again, is my favorite book of all time. It's Russia, and it's really silly, and I really like it. It's by brothers Strugatsky. It's Monday starts on Saturday, and I really love it. Oh my god.
I haven't gotten to reading Russian books.
Yeah.
And I really want to, because I also feel like they have something to say, and they would appeal to me as a Russian person who kind of feels like the spirit of Russian literature, Russian people. I think there's something in it that foreign books don't have.
A lot of tragedy.
A lot of tragedy, yeah, first and foremost.
And not like, I mean, a lot of like, I think all the books
My
have.
primary genre is that.
Oh, you cannot say
I
that.
cannot mention my primary genre, but the second genre is described as literary, which is, I think, just well-written books.
Okay.
That's,
It's not a genre.
I don't know what are the characteristics of literary books, but the first one is.
I mean, maybe it's fiction mostly.
Yeah, it's mostly, it is fiction, and it's maybe I would say it's the books that are classics, or they're on the way to becoming a modern classic.
Yeah.
Like The Secret Histories, it was written in 1992, I think, and it's already becoming a modern classic.
I think a lot of books written in the 90s are already becoming or have become that classic.
Yeah,
Because a lot of good books were written in that time. I think because a lot of countries were going through a lot in the 90s.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I have classics, it's a genre. Then
Oh
I
my
have
God.
romance.
Oh, okay.
Romance, there's a lot of romance books, not only, contemporary ones. Contemporary is the next subgenre. Then young adult.
Oh, young adult, yeah.
I've gotten into it when I just started reading books, and it's really, I like it. It's mostly simple, and when you're a teenager, you have some issues that are often mentioned in those, and it was a good start for me, but not what I enjoy reading now. Then fantasy, I would say I don't read fantasy a lot now. I have a couple of fantasy books I bought and I'm planning to read them, but it's not really my genre, because I don't like the process when you're 20 pages in, 50 pages in, and you don't get what's happening. And you have to kind of think a lot about it. You have to process a lot of information to understand the world building and all that stuff. So that's a lot. Then there's historical books that tell about the history, and there's poetry, graphic novels. Those are also good, especially when you're learning difficult language like Chinese. There are a lot of graphic novels.
Yeah, I think one of my closest friends, she's graduating with me this year, her thesis surprisingly was about translating Chinese children's books,
Oh, wow.
and she had the addition to her work. So her thesis was 300 pages long.
That's a book.
Because 100 of those pages were just scans of books. Because I saw how she was translating them. It's basically like that big of a page, and just like a little bit of text and big, big, big pictures. So that's why it was so long. Also because of hieroglyphics, a lot of hieroglyphics and analysis. So the translation is much, much bigger than the hieroglyphics in the original. And she was writing about translating those, which is surprising for our faculty, for example, because we're studying for 5 years, and our books should be related to either like literary translation, so the fictional books, or something with the military theme, because we are the military specialists. And so basically, it was surprising that she was translating children's books. It's not, I mean, at your faculty, that would be a good, basically, like, I think it would be a good topic for a thesis. And she did a good job. She defended her thesis with flying colors. She got a 5. I'm really proud of her. And it was really interesting translating with her, because she was using this thing where she would put in like the whole sentence in Chinese, and it would deconstruct every character. I have no idea what it was called, but I would take like the 3rd or the 5th meaning and like mess with her work, just like, look at me, I'm translating Chinese too. Oh my god.
But when you're getting into the language, especially a difficult one like Chinese, I think at the early stages, reading graphic novels or children's books is what can get you into reading. Because reading Chinese fiction, that's not for the weak. I don't do that, and I don't know many people who do, except for some of our teachers. But I've gotten into non-fiction recently, which is a lot of history, a lot of memoirs of people's stories. I've enjoyed reading about cults lately, so I've read about.
I think there's a lot of cults in Asia, just in general.
Yeah, in Asia, but I've read about. There's this book by Amanda Motel that I recommend. It's called Cultish, and it's about the language that it is used to entice people into joining the cult, and modern cultish organizations like even fitness or MLM schemes or stuff like that. So it's about the language that is used to attract you and kind of push away the rest of the things that can distract you from being in that organization. And I love this book, so I've kind of gotten into reading about other cults. I read about what's it called, Jonestown, I think.
Oh my god, Jonestown,
Yeah, and I've read the whole. It was 7.
Where they drank, I think it was Kool-Aid. Jonestown.
It wasn't Kool-Aid, but it's another thing. But
it was, but
it got
everyone
into the memory of the people as Kool-Aid. So they use that now.
Mandela effect.
Yeah, and every time I hear about drinking the Kool-Aid, I'm like, do you even know?
I mean, I watched a documentary on it, and I can't remember what it was.
It was a lot. But I think when I was in the gym, when I was just walking somewhere, when I was doing something, I would listen to this book. I think it was 17 hours long.
Oh my god.
It was on 175 speed, so it took me 10 hours, not 17. But that was cool. I know a lot about those tactics that they use on people. So
I mean, it's in the language and in the psychology, I think.
And they talked a lot about the psychology, about the person himself. So I've been into those lately. There's a lot of books you can read on that topic, and just non-fiction in general. It's a gold mine.
That's interesting. That's really, I mean, I love a good documentary and a good, for example, true crime podcast. And when I don't remember the channel where I saw the documentary about Jonestown, but I think it was like a 2 hour long thing, and it was really interesting because like there was a lot of um signs that a cult was forming,
Yeah,
and
there are
nobody
signs.
know, like you can see them, but then again they talk to you in that like way that, I mean, I don't even know, I don't
Love
even know.
bombing.
Yeah, basically, and then like they try to push your relatives away,
Yes,
and like
that's the
make you,
thing. It
they cut you
isolates
off.
you.
Yeah, they cut you off from the society, from the people who can say that like,
Yes.
stop, it's a cult, come on.
Yes.
And then even if they don't cut
And
those
they
people off,
justify it by the doctrine, the things that they're
Yeah.
saying is like, oh, people are trying to betray us, people are
Mhm.
trying to don't listen to anything they say, and if a member says something to you that is trying to push you away, report them. So
yeah,
that's what they're doing usually in a lot of cults and stuff like that. So and in the book that I've mentioned, cultish, they speak a lot about that kind of the red flags that can help you distinguish if you're getting into a cult or something. They talk about Scientology as well. That's a very
Mhm.
popular.
everyone is like, oh, Scientology. Like, it's a cult.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
And they also tell. No, they also say in this book about how well people are getting into this and not getting out of it.
I think we should start a cult just to show that, like, guys, it's everywhere.
Live posting. Start a cult with me.
So our plans, starting a cult. No, I mean, I can understand if they're doing it for money, but
They are promised money sometimes. Or they
no,
are
I mean
promised-
those who organize cults.
this
I understand like they're doing it. Some of them are doing it for money, but then there are those, mostly by the way, religious cults, and we're not judging the religions that like. I mean, there are religious cults. It shouldn't reflect on other religions or on any
Yeah, yeah,
religion.
yeah.
It's just a cult. It's their problem, and I don't understand those cults that like get people into like those oh my god, organizers that get people into the cult and then just commit group suicide.
Yeah.
Why? Like for what? I mean, a lot of those people who started cults were in some kind of religious psychosis.
Yeah.
There is that, but still, that
Also, like the mania of control.
yeah.
And if there's something that kind of could go wrong, they're like, oh no, I'm blowing this all up.
Yeah,
That's what
Fair.
I think that would move them to do that.
fair.
But yeah,
But it's still crazy.
it is.
It is.
Definitely it is.
And I think on that interesting note about cults, I mean, okay, yeah, that's that has never happened, but we always finish on something interesting.
Yeah.
I think we will say goodbye to you all. First of all, thank you for coming to our podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
That was a really productive talk, and that's really cool. Good luck with your thesis next year
Thank you.
and this year.
Yeah.
And to all of you, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel here, to our Telegram channel, to our Yandex Music. Don't forget to like, share, and all that. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Goodbye.